Don't mind that. I mentioned that I was going out with this guy who's not from here. We went out for about a month and then he went back home. And so the conversation came up of me going to visit him. And I was a little bit on the fence in the beginning because one, I didn't know this guy super well. I think we went out like 4 or 5 times. He also didn't give a lot of details. The invite was kind of vague. So I was like, I do want to come see you, but like, what are the details? Like in my head, I'm thinking like, who's paying for this trip? When it came down to booking, like we had picked a weekend that worked for both of us. We had confirmed the dates multiple times. This guy is older, not old. He's like in his 40s. He's successful, very well off. So I was kind of assuming that he was going to cover the trip because also he was inviting me. And honestly, I would not have gone if I was the one paying for the trip, making the flight out. Like that seems very off balance for like effort, especially in the beginning stages especially when you're long distance. Like I didn't want to be a pen pal for however many months before he comes back because he is going to be coming back to Vancouver. In my head, I'm like, this is going to be kind of like make or break. But there was just some things throughout the trip and even prior that made me feel not great about the connection. I often felt like he was distracted and very selective hearing. Like sometimes I would say something and he would just completely ignore it and start talking about something else, or I'd ask him a question, he wouldn't answer it and just like go on to something else. I also felt like I was always the one asking him questions about his personal life and like trying to get to know him on a deeper level, and he didn't really ask me those questions back, or like he would never bring up those conversations. So that's where I felt like I was struggling to connect on an emotional level because I wasn't getting to know him better. These are some things I was feeling, but I decided to wait till the end of the trip to bring it up just in case the conversation didn't go well. And honestly, thank God that I did, because clearly it didn't go well. The last night I was there, he ended up getting sick and he was starting to have a cough. So he decided to go sleep in the guest room. And in the morning, I guess he just like slept in. He was like kind of staying in the bedroom. He came out for breakfast and I was standing in the kitchen. He just wasn't really acknowledging me. Like the vibe was really off. I just felt really weird. So I packed up all my stuff and I told him, I'm like, I'm just going to get an Uber. And he's like, why? This is so early. Like, you're just going to go wait at the airport. And I was like, I don't really feel like you want me here. And he's like, no, I do want you here. Like, let's just hang out. You can just like watch a show with me. He's like, I'm just not feeling well. So I ended up staying for a little bit longer. And then it came down to the time where I'm like, okay, I actually need to leave now. We're ordering the Uber. And he asked me again, he's like, why do you feel like I didn't want you here? Because I kind of mentioned like, it's not just about you being sick. It was kind of in general. So I'm trying to explain to him the things that I just told you, like how I felt, just like not prioritized. I felt like he was distracted. I was also crying because I just like, I always cry when I like bring up emotions and stuff like this. And he started to laugh, not like hysterically. He was kind of like, and he's like, I don't understand why you're so upset. And that is where things started to take a turn. And so I asked him, I'm like, are you laughing at me because I'm crying? He's like, yeah, like I don't understand why you're being so emotional, blah, blah, blah. And I'm shocked at this point. I was hoping we could just have.
Of course he's laughing at you because you're crying and you look insane. You look like someone that just got successfully played. You wasted your time. You literally disrupted your own life to travel to a male species that never even liked you to begin with. Because if he were serious about you, he would have went after you. You wouldn't have been the one traveling anywhere or doing any of that work. That's a lot of work. That's a male's work. The males are supposed to be putting in all that work. That's a lot of work. Women are not supposed to be doing all that work. That's insane. Okay. So yeah, he's laughing at you because he never took you seriously. And it's funny because it's like, he won, right? So it's kind of funny when you're like, and I always tell women this as well, like, why do you keep telling males your emotions? They don't care. You know, you keep, oh, this is how I feel. This is how I felt. This is like, I'm so sad. You just made me feel like blah, blah, blah. Like no one cares. Even I wouldn't care. I'm sorry, but I wouldn't. It's like, what? Like, just get to the point, you know, and be serious about it from the get-go. Because if you're not serious about it from the get-go with like standards and stuff, I would laugh at you too, honestly, because it's like, what? Like, be so for real. So hopefully she learned from this experience, because to be fair, that this is how a lot of women end up having to learn, especially youngins. Youngins, it's okay because you're young and you're just now gathering this experience. But these are the lessons that you need to learn and never repeat a second time. One time, sure. A second time, never. Okay.
A little conversation. I thought maybe he would be understanding, maybe apologize. I don't know what I was expecting, but I thought it would just be a little conversation, and then it would lead to us talking about like, do we want to see each other again or not? But it took a very different turn. So yeah, he's like, he's saying all this, and by this point, he's standing in the doorway, holding the door open, basically ushering me out to get my Uber. Ugh, I wish I had recorded this conversation. Like, it's just so shocking to me. So just like picture him standing there, holding the door open. He also can't make eye contact with me. He's like looking at the ground, and he basically goes off and he's saying, this isn't going to work then. What a waste of time. He's basically alluding to like, this is done, this is over. He said it in a couple different ways. And I was standing there with my jaw to the floor. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? I'm like, this is such a negative way to leave things. I'm like, that's just how it's going to be. He's like, yeah. I'm trying to remember all the things said, because at this point, like, words were flying out of this man's mouth that were just like.
Another craziness is the fact that she stayed with this male that you don't even know who this male is. He could literally have unalived you that first night. So you stayed with this male. I'm assuming you might have slept with this male. And now you're expecting what? For him to give a crap about what you're saying and how you feel? Ma'am, it's like, what are these women smoking? Even I wouldn't care. I'm sorry, but it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. But you know what? I have a little bit of like, I'm very, very literal. So it doesn't take me more than one time to learn a lesson. You know what I'm saying? And I think more women just need to be more literal, like, because it's like, okay, because everything was just so easy for him. All he had to do was pay for a basic plane ticket or whatever, and you hand delivered yourself over. If that were me, I would be looking at you the same way. But just the fact that you stayed with him or you spent all that time with him, girl, bye.
Unbelievable to me. But he goes on to say, oh, this is another thing I forgot to mention when we were booking. So we had picked this weekend. We confirmed the date multiple times. And it was a few days before. He was like, I'm kind of busy. Maybe next week would be better. He's like, I can still do this weekend, but next week would be better. And I told him, like, I can't do next week. Like, I already planned my schedule around this. We've confirmed this multiple times. And he's like, okay, we still can. But also if he canceled that weekend, I wouldn't have gone. Because I just feel like that's disrespectful to me to like bail out a few days before when we had confirmed it so many times. So that's a key thing to know, because he brings up, he's like, well, if we had done this next week, I wouldn't have been so busy and distracted and things would have been better. And I told him, like, I feel like you didn't really value my time, like leaving things so last minute and like trying to switch it up. And then he starts like pointing the finger at me and being like, you didn't value my time because you said that this weekend worked better for you. And I said next week would work better for me. I'm just like, holy shit. Like, this is when I realized like there's no point in continuing this conversation, because like anything I say is not going to get through to him. He's going to flip everything on me. He also continues on to say that I was using him. I didn't contribute anything. He starts listing every single little thing that he's done for me. He's like, I did this and this and this and this. And he's like, you didn't once do this or that. I'm like, first of all, I was unaware that we were keeping tallies in our head. And I have done things, by the way, which again, no point in bringing them up, because I'm not about to get in a tally war of like trying to prove my value and like what I've done versus what you have done. Like, that's just so silly to me. And so I just like didn't even say anything back to any of that. A couple other things were said. I'm just grabbing my bags and rushing out the door. I'm like, I can't even have this conversation at this point. And so I'm like throwing my bags in the Uber. He's standing at the door. I'm like, hey, I guess that's like worst goodbye in history that I've ever experienced. But he finally decides to like run out and was going to give me a hug. And I was just like, no. Like, I honestly cannot believe what has just happened right now. I just want to get...
Good. I'm glad she didn't let that degenerate monster touch her, because it's like these males, I keep trying to tell y'all, they are degenerates. Honestly. And they know what they are. So you just have to be literal. You have to be literal. You have to be logical. You can't be going around like, oh, maybe this. As soon as he starts whining about like, oh, I was used because of this and I was used because of that, he's weak. He's a loser. He's trying to manipulate you, because the whole thing is illogical anyways. Okay. Everyone knows you have to give and take in relationships and dynamics. Okay. And if you're supposed to be the male and you are complaining about showing up for people financially when your whole system, your whole patriarchy is built off of you saying that males are the financially dominant gender, then that sounds like a personal problem to me. Goodbye, sir. Okay.
Here, so I couldn't even look at him. Close the door. Uber takes off. This man starts texting me immediately. And honestly, I will put screenshots in here. This is what this guy was texting me. And like, I don't know. I was reading these messages in the Uber and just taking in what had just happened, and I was just in shock. So I didn't reply to those messages, by the way. And we'll probably never talk again. I don't know if he'll ever reach out, but there's no coming back from that, in my opinion. You guys. Oh, shit. I'm talking to a girl right now that was seeing this guy at the same time as me, and like, holy shit. I'll be clear, we were not exclusive at all. But he's telling this girl that he was in the hospital, and that's why he wasn't talking to her when he was with me. Sorry, my camera just died. But anyways, yeah. Oh, this battery's gonna die too. Okay, she sent me a 2-minute voice note. I want to hear it. I probably shouldn't record. Also, my battery's gonna die. I'm gonna go meet up with this girl right now. I'm like, this is insane. Just got back home. I hung out with that girl for like an hour and we just like chatted. And honestly, it's nice to just swap stories and vent. But she did end up messaging him because she just wanted to let him know like you can't get away with like treating people like shit. And again, it's not about him seeing multiple people at the same time, because you can. There was just like a lot of emotional manipulation, gaslighting, lies, and just like some of the story timeline overlap is just like crazy. So she called him out. He ended up blocking her. I'm sure he's probably blocked me at this point. I haven't messaged him anything, but she ended up saying like me and Alyssa say goodbye. So he definitely knows that we know of each other now. And honestly, there's probably more. But yeah, that's just like, I have not had a situation like this happen to me in so long. Honestly, I'm just like, I'm so glad to know all of this and just be done with it. But yeah, wow, I just did not think my day was going to go in this direction. So evening, because what the heck just happened? Also, I think we're both blocked on everything. He was calling her an asshole, entitled, like throwing names out there. Clearly this man has issues. So we were both just saying it was nice to see this guy's true colors up front and like early on, so that we didn't waste our time.